Good morning, everyone. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. It's 12:07, and we're glad you're here. We have a lot to get into tonight. It's the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani. We'll talk about Pitt basketball. Do they have a resume that's good enough to be considered for the NCAA tournament? We'll get into that. How about the Penguins and all their problems heading into a break now that has 9 days off for them before they return home against Colorado, of all teams. But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be football. The Super Bowl is now set. Here to talk about it is your panel. We have Jeff Hathhorn, sports director of 93.7 The Fan. Far left, in the middle, it's Chris Adamski from the Tribune Review, Trib Live Sports. And to his left, far right on your screen, would be Mark Kaboly, who does a great job covering the Steelers for The Athletic. All right, so I want to get into this, Jeff. I don't know. You look at the Cincinnati game with Kansas City. #1, the refs were way too big of a part of this. That's one takeaway. But to me, the other one would be Patrick Mahomes and what he had to do to get himself ready to play, pass for over 300 yards, make plays when he had to. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, he made plays when he had to. And, you know, hey, Kansas City's defense was able to take advantage of a bad offensive line and create some pressure on Joe Burrow and create a couple of bad throws along with those sacks. And, man, I got to be honest, I feel for that linebacker. Like, you're running over, you're trying to make a play, but you just can't do that.
Yeah, I feel for NFL defenders in general, the things they can't do when they think that they're that jacked up and that full energy, and you know that happens that way. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes, for as young as he is already, these are like legacy. He knows, like he knew he had to scramble there. He knows what's on the line here. Looking forward to, you know, I don't think he's going to catch Tom Brady in Super Bowl wins, but he's to that level of his career already, even though he's still in his mid-20s. That, you know, getting to another Super Bowl and having a chance to win one, could that be that defining for him going forward?
I say, what a, you know, the modern medicine, right? I mean, if this was 40, 50 years ago, he's not playing in this game.
Even if it was week 3, would he have been playing?
Nah, I mean, but the thing is, he didn't look like he was limping until end of the game, too. So whatever they gave him, whatever they wrapped him with, whatever that happened, it worked. But Mahomes is, I think, easily the best player in the NFL right now. And you look at it, look at his skill players. There's not much there today. Right. There's not much there at all today to help him other than Kelsey. You had a bunch of guys injured. They don't even care about the running game anymore. So he's being able to do that with even, you know, a defense is not very good as well, but they got a great coaching staff and they got a great quarterback that leads you to always believe if you have one of those star quarterbacks, those upper echelon, that MVP type, you can win regardless of what you have.
I was surprised at how much Mahomes seemed to take it personal. He was subtle about it and he was sort of making fun of it, but the whole Joe Burrow is as good as him or better than him or the Bengals are better than the Chiefs. Like, he really seemed to be aware of that. He said nobody picked us and all that, which you know, a lot of people say that, but he really seemed to take it personal that, hey, you know what, I am, like you said, the best player in the league.
He is.
Joe, you know, I have respect for Joe Burrow, whatever it is, but he ain't me.
Travis Kelce was not that nice. He
nice
came right on, pretty much said it, and even called out the man.
What did he say, Bob? I can't remember.
Well, he pretty much said.
What time is it?
Yeah, is it past midnight?
Yeah, it's past midnight, so I guess we could say it, but I'm not going to because I don't want to risk that. But anyway, I mean, he even took on the mayor. See, this is what, just a side note here. Why do politicians have to get involved in stuff like this? Now, I understand if you're going to make a bet. Just make the bet, whatever the bet is. It's tradition, okay, fine. But Mark, I mean, this guy went off. You know, and quite frankly, he may lose his next election because of Travis Kelce and those Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know. Anytime you get on TV for politicians, that's a good thing, right? But shouldn't they have, like, just traded, like, what, Skyline Chili for ribs or something like
that's
that?
What I mean. Just
you know,
make
this
a
was
trade.
Bill Peduto back in the day. He'd be sending out some pierogies left and right or some Pompeani sandwiches or something like that. Keep it to that when you start getting a little bit deeper into it. But it's all about, you know, being visible with him.
I know Kelsey had a wrestling dig at the end of the game on the podium, but, you know, they haven't won anything. In baseball, like, forever ago they won something, but they haven't won. It's a city. It's not like it's a city that has a lot to brag about. Like, know your role.
What about Joe Burrow's performance? This is one that people expected. You know, he had 2 interceptions, could have had 3. There was another one that was dropped early in the game. But he made some key throws when he had to. And I thought there was a point in this game where I thought they took, at least to me, they thought they had control of the game. It was 20-20. They had taken advantage of the Mahomes fumble. And then it looked like they thought, we're going to get the ball last and we're going to drive. And then they didn't. And they were sacked on 3rd and 8.
Did seem to get the momentum there, and it really did feel like, and again, this leads back to, I think, Mahomes and Kelsey and other. the Chiefs have still been the best team in the league over the past 5 years, aggregate, right? I mean, I know they haven't won every Super Bowl, whatever, and the Bengals had beaten them 3 times in a row, and I think there was sort of the palpable sense from the announcers, from everybody watching, these Bengals are going to do it again. They're going to come back and beat them again.
They almost did.
Yeah, they almost did. But I think that was, you're right. The momentum was there with the Bengals and Joe Burrow, and this was the one time. And he's almost Joe Burrow. We're talking about somebody who hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, at least. I'm saying hasn't won anything. His legend has kind of outgrown himself at this point, right? And we'll see. And he's way younger than Mahomes.
I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass. That offensive line is just awful. And the thing about that is, this might bring it back a little bit to the Steelers. They spent a lot of money on that offensive line in the offseason, and you see where it got him. It got him, their quarterback almost decapitated a couple times today.
And as I'm watching that game, I immediately thought of the Steelers, like, where do they go in the draft? Because they went Jamar Chase and got him to a Super Bowl. But, man, they haven't addressed that line except for some free agents. But they haven't done it with high picks when they had the opportunity. And would Cincinnati be as good if that line was better throwing to a lesser receiver if he had more time to throw?
Well, just look at Philadelphia. We switched to the NFC. I mean, they got a great offensive line, I think, and a great defensive line, and it's hard to do anything against them. So they won that game fairly easily. How do you guys think this Super Bowl stacks up now? Kansas City against Philadelphia. I've been riding Philadelphia all year, so I'm going to pick them. Mark, how do you see it coming down?
I think I like Kansas City. I mean, Philadelphia has played well, but I think Kansas City's just been there more often. I like their coaching staff a little bit more. I like their defense tremendously more. And like you said,
you like Kansas City's defense?
No. I like the Eagles' defense, but I think Mahomes showed today that he can pretty much figure that out. But the big thing is where I think it's going to be close is like you mentioned, both interior lines. I think like 8 of the 10 guys on the offensive, defensive line made the Pro Bowl this year or alternates.
Yeah, I mean,
that's unbelievable. And that's how you win games.
Right.
You could talk about, like we said, Jamar Chase and whatever, and all these star players. If you don't have those 2 lines, you're going to struggle. And I still think Kansas City, Chris Jones, and Creed Humphrey on both sides. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Chiefs will win.
I do like that both number 1 seeds made it, especially all these leagues are expanding their playoff formats now with an extra team. These 7 seeds generally have not been very good, every 7 seed. So I like that we have the 2 top seeds. I think the Eagles have a better roster top to bottom, but I would probably ride with Mahomes here.
I had to turn it off because I didn't want to watch Philadelphia celebrate, seriously. But Philadelphia is a better team, and they'll win the Super Bowl.
You really care about Philly that much?
Yeah, I can't.
One way or another. That's like a different world, man. It's like 5-hour drive. It's not Pennsylvania.
We have to take a break on that note. When we come back, we'll talk about the Steelers because Art Rooney was available this week for some interviews. He had some interesting things to say, specifically about backup quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. We'll talk about that and more as we continue. It's the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We're live tonight, right here on KDKA.